This is episode number 166 of the Middle Country Public Library podcast. Hello and welcome. I'm Sal DiVincenzo, joined as usual by my fabulous colleagues, Sarah Fate.
Hi.
And Nicole Rambo.
Hello.
And I spun the movie chat wheel of death.
You did. no one's having...
And it went... Oh,
This wheel hates us.
Yeah.
So it is a movie chat this week, and I do want to mention that there will be spoilers. Mm-hmm. Some of you might know about the subject of the film, so that's not necessarily a spoiler. But how this film was presented, I guess, how it was made, is definitely going to be a spoiler. Mm-hmm. A major spoiler on how this movie was made and how it was presented. Mm-hmm. So the...
I mean, I guess.
Get ready, folks.
Yeah, get ready.
This thing had my... This was
Buckle in.
a head scratcher. So the movie, this episode that we'll be discussing is Tesla. Mm-hmm. It is from 2020, rated PG-13. Mm-hmm. A nice...
Why is it rated PG?
I know, it could be like
rated
PG.
Yeah. A nice hour, 42 minutes, Nicole.
I was happy about that. I Googled running time before I did anything, and I was like, okay.
I felt like that was long, though.
Yeah.
Felt like 3 hours.
Available here at the library. We do have copies. It's on the list this week. I think it was on the list.
Or last week.
Last week. I put in the movies that were on the list. And
okay. That's good. Yeah.
Maybe we should stop doing that. So we did that, and it stars Ethan Hawke as Nikola Tesla, Eve Hewson as Anne Morgan. Sorry to interrupt, folks. This is Future Sal from the post-production bay of the podcast, re-listening to this episode and editing it, realizing that Eve Hewson it's Bono's daughter. Bono from U2. Bono. That's his daughter in the movie. It's amazing. I can't believe it. I didn't mention this. Well, whilst we were talking about it, this is Eve Hewson is Paul Hewson's daughter. Paul Hewson, known as Bono, from my favorite band U2. I can't believe it. I can't believe I missed that. I'm sorry. Okay, back to the show. And those are
Kyle MacLachlan.
And Kyle MacLachlan, is Thomas Edison. Those are the basic.
Jim Gaffigan.
I know, he was almost like unrecognized. I only recognize his voice, not his face. Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah, he was.
I expected him to be like,
part?
yes, I'm Mr. Westinghouse. Why does that guy have such a big mustache? This guy's mustache is so huge. No, okay. Yeah, so I spun the wheel, and both of you were like, no. The first time I spun the wheel, I put in the top AFI.
Yeah.
I spun the wheel, and it landed on Citizen Kane, and then you were like, no.
Well, we had both seen it.
All right, yes. So I haven't, which is terrible, but I will see it. But anyway,
watch it on your own.
So
don't make us watch it again.
So, but I was excited about the idea of a movie about Tesla. You know, he technically was in our backyard. I mean, at Wardenclyffe, which is down the road here, in Shoreham. Passed that building by a bunch of times. So this movie was a biography.
A loose.
Super loose. Like ridiculously loose biography about Tesla.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
I read a description and they called it an anti-biopic.
Oh, see, I didn't see that. Yes,
and I was like, this is before I saw it. And I'm like, well, that gives me a heads up on what I'm about to get into.
So it's the story of Tesla. That's basically the subject of this movie. Yeah, it's the story of Tesla from his beginnings as a worker in Thomas Edison's factory and his offices there, up to pretty much his death. They describe his death at the very end.
It wasn't really that.
Okay, that is not the issue, or that is not the discussion point of this film. Okay. Right. Now, Tesla, there's not a lot of real concrete information out there about Tesla to be truthful here.
Mm-hmm. Which they point out.
I feel like there's enough, though, to have a better movie.
But yes, but Sarah,
there's enough.
Sarah, yes, there's enough. there's more than the Wikipedia entry, which is what I think the movie makers
Right.
actually did was just go to Wikipedia, read that, and create a script.
But I think so the writer, the director, and one other big role is the same person, and I think maybe he could have used a little collaboration with other people to say, hey, maybe not this. You know what I'm saying? But like when you are doing everything,
He like suffers from the Michael Jackson and like Madonna syndrome where no one says no to them.
apparently, because
Yeah.
like it was a shame because I like the idea of like contemporizing. Is that a word? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
no, yeah,
Of like, you know, old things, like, because like the movie A Knight's Tale, I love that movie.
Yeah.
You know, and they
Okay.
bring in like the
a lot of
current music and
Anachroni-
stuff like
a
that.
lot of anachronistic things are going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and like, but they did it well. This movie does not do it well.
I don't like how they like,
all.
you know, when they break the fourth wall and they like,
Yeah.
they're talking like, right, like, you know, there's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it.
Right.
And did you guys feel like it was very like, almost like a play? Like this is something
This
I
could
would
have taken
see in
place,
an 8th grade play
Yes.
where they dress up, but then they try to monitor and they look at you. I'm like,
Right.
what do I?
Yeah, so it's being narrated by Anne Morgan.
Yes. And Morgan, the
One
daughter
of
of
the-
J.P. Morgan.
People who look like exactly the other
Oh my
people.
god, all the female characters in this, or actresses, I guess.
I was like, who's this?
they
Who
look
this?
Look all the
very
same, yeah.
similar.
Yes.
At first,
Yeah.
I thought because we meet his Edison's second wife, and then we meet Anne very quickly after
thought
that,
they
and
were the
I thought they
same.
were the
Yeah.
same person.
Yeah.
Yes, I thought
and I was
so
like,
too.
oh, this is why they fell out. I'm like, they had, you know, Tesla took his like wife, and that would have been more interesting, to be
Yeah,
honest.
you were really, trying to jazz it up a little. I was waiting for the bird. I'm like, when's the bird gonna get in here? That's what
What bird?
he fell in love with the bird.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, he was a little
Pigeon.
upset.
Yeah, he was into
But
pigeons. yeah.
totally off topic. Not really. It's still on topic. But don't you think a good movie about Tesla as a young Tesla? Don't you think Timothy Chalamet would be a good Nikola Tesla?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
He has,
right?
like the hair for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
That was the other
Yeah.
thing. Like, I don't know if like they were trying to be real true to Tesla, and this was like you said, he's kind of a weirdo. So like maybe Ethan Hawke was playing that, but like, oh my god, so hard to watch.
a little monotone.
Like if we're already taking creative license,
Yeah.
let him at least be enjoyable to
Exactly.
watch.
No, he was like almost zombie like. You know,
Yeah.
kind of,
Yeah.
Like I think did you say before we hit record robotic? There's kind of a robotic thing about this. Now, what part of the film does Anne Morgan's character become the narrator? Was that like 20 minutes in?
I have no clue.
Because it's not right away.
I thought it was.
She starts. She is the narrator at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Oh, you
But
mean
we-
when she like whips out the laptop and you're like, wait,
Oh,
No. Yes. So
Like,
the,
okay.
Yeah. So
Tesla invented the laptop?
So yes, she's sitting in his. So the narrator starts off screen, does the narration.
Yeah.
We later find out that it's her,
Right.
Because it's the same actress.
Yeah.
But the way we find out is that she's sitting in his.
Yeah.
She's sitting in his laboratory in Colorado at a computer. Googling things, and she says if you were to Google Nikola Tesla, you would get like I forgot what it was, like a ridiculously low amount of
Right.
response. If you Google Thomas Edison, you get many
Millions, right?
million. Now I do feel, and again, I really do think two things. I think the movie makers, the director, the writer of this movie, went to the Wikipedia page and just read that. And also went to the Oatmeal. Does everybody know the Oatmeal? It's the online comic.
Yeah. Funny.
And read the Oatmeal's thing on Tesla.
Oh, really?
Yes, because it was basically that. It was
that's
like
so
it was
funny.
like not anti, but it was like, really Tesla was much more involved in our modern technology and our modern life than Thomas Edison.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas Edison was more of a business person.
Right.
He didn't
was a
necessarily
jerk.
create
He
things.
killed a lot of animals.
Yes, we'll get to that in a moment. Yes, I knew that was gonna. I was like, oh, sorry.
That was like hard. It was unnecessary.
Yes.
Stupid.
We'll get to that in a moment. But so
Breaking news: electricity kills things.
yes.
Yeah.
So you get that information, but it sounded like this comic. It
Yeah,
sounded
that's
like
funny. I
this.
have to read it now.
You have to read it.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's two of them. There's the one about Nikola Tesla, like something like the greatest geek of all or something like that, and the other one was let's build the Tesla museum because
Okay.
the gentleman who writes the Oatmeal actually had a lot to do with getting together with the librarian who is actually Miss Alcorn, I think is her name, to build this to buy the Tesla Wardenclyffe and build the museum.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so I do feel like it was that. Now, she is the narrator. She's on Google. She's doing this whole thing. So you feel, okay, that was kind of, by itself, that was kind of interesting.
Right.
It's like
I
a
like
cool
that.
thing.
Yeah.
And then it kind of started going a little over the top.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, there's a scene in this movie where there's a whole scene where he comes into a bar. Tesla comes into a bar, into a pub, I guess. Edison's sitting at a table.
Oh, yeah.
They order food for each other and everything. And they start having this conversation like it's really happening, where Edison's saying, I was wrong about you.
Mm-hmm.
You were right about AC current and da-da-da and all this kind of alternating current.
Yeah.
You were right about all this. And then the narrator comes on and says, this really didn't happen.
Oh, well, that was
Right?
enjoyable with the ice cream cones.
No, no, but yes, and that also didn't happen.
Yeah.
But he's like, this really didn't happen.
Yeah.
If this happened, the world would be different. But it didn't. So while she's doing this whole thing, Tesla sits at the table. Thomas Edison gets up. He walks over to the bar and orders like a Coke and takes out his iPhone.
Yeah.
And starts browsing his iPhone. And then you're like, what did I just see?
Yeah.
What did I just see?
But like, it just stinks because I get where they were going.
Yes.
The execution was just terrible.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I could have been better. I
Yes.
think it's interesting. Like I said, it's interesting to modernize stuff like that. But
Yes.
like, it was all over the place.
It was all over the place. Like
Yeah.
this. So there's a the actress who is very interested in Tesla.
Bernhardt,
Sandra Bernhardt. Yes. And he's not interested at all.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Your English is getting better." She didn't have an accent. I'm like, "What do
No,
you mean her
she
English
is.
is getting better?" She spoke perfect English the whole time.
But did you notice when he goes to see her? I guess at an after show party or something like that. The music in the background is
Yeah.
like techno,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
modern techno music, and then it stops abruptly.
Yeah.
Like literally stops abruptly. So that was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I think the worst thing that happened. I think the thing that I actually stopped
I
the
liked
movie.
it, though.
I did.
I stopped the movie.
Yeah, I liked it.
stopped
I was
the
like,
movie.
okay.
I stopped
Yeah.
it. I stopped it, and I had to stop, and I had to get up, and I had to walk away for a moment because I was embarrassed for the movie makers. I was embarrassed for Ethan Hawke. I was embarrassed for myself. I felt like I was
that bad.
I like
no,
this
I'm
part.
sorry.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching an episode of The Office. So that's how cringeworthy it was.
That would have been better if they had made the whole movie like The Office. I think that would have been so much
that would have been
funnier. It would
funnier.
have been so much
Yeah.
better.
So, spoiler alert, this is how the movie ends. The narrator is talking about how they found him, I guess how he died, and how she's kind of wrapping up the story. And she starts to pet a cat. There's a thing about a cat.
Yeah,
when
science
he was
being a cat.
yeah. So when he was
That's a quote.
when he was young, he was petting his cat and he saw the static electricity and that kind of got him interested. So she's petting a cat. So it's like a callback to the beginning. And in the background, we start to hear the beginning bars of one of my favorite songs
Good song.
by
Tears for Fears.
by Tears for Fears.
Everybody wants to
Everybody Wants to Rule the World is the full title of it. It starts to play. So you're like, okay, they want to do that. That's fine. But no, it goes even further than that because the next scene is a microphone, a modern day microphone on the scene. And you're like, where are they going with this? Is this like modern times now? They're going to do like an announcement about the opening? No. So Ethan Hawke as Nikola Tesla walks out onto a stage, I guess, with this microphone.
Yeah.
And starts to sing the song.
You're more, I think, offended by the I don't know.
I like that part. I don't think it was wild.
No, the only thing that got me about this thing was that he was wearing gloves like the weekend. I could go with the singing. He was a terrible singer. And I'm like, wow, he's bad.
Yeah.
I like the song. I was
Yeah.
like, I liked it because I was like, you know what? Everyone does want to rule the
Yeah,
world.
yeah.
And they screw the people because,
Yeah.
they don't care that we could have gotten free electricity or whatever, better electricity, but it's all about money. And
Yeah,
but I got it. I was like, I like this.
Yeah.
But then the gloves. And I'm like, what's with the gloves? That's where my mind was.
Yeah.
Sarah.
I totally agree.
I liked it.
I liked
It was
it.
Did you?
Yeah.
It was the whole song, by the way. It wasn't like just part of the song. Like
yeah, but it cuts to different things.
It goes while he's singing the song. It's like an '80s flashback of like
I liked it. I
of the different scenes of the movie. It's like
the whole rivalry of Westinghouse and Edison and Tesla and
even
and
Morgan,
I liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. I mean, it was weird. It was
I don't think it was so wild compared to the hour and 20 minutes
set you
that
up
came
with the
before.
iPhone and the laptop.
Right,
So
exactly.
it's like,
So we're like, okay. Again, the execution, not great, but I don't think it was like, where did this come from? You're like, all right, well.
Like
I thought the song choice was really good. I really did. Yeah.
I mean, if the movie was like that before that, though, like where there was more, like you said,
Karaoke?
No. Like if there was more modern songs, and if there was kind of,
I mean, it was
just that one part with the techno music, but this was like, to me, this was like crazy out of place. And
oh, I didn't think so.
I didn't think so either.
Right,
I didn't think it was good.
The only thing that was out of place were those gloves.
I like how he was like caressing the mic, like he was like,
it was like what?
It's like, ooh, I'm blinded by the light.
Yeah, I was like, okay, Weekend, dial it down a notch. No, but I like that part.
Yeah, it was okay. So the movie was not what I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Me neither.
I will say this though.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely, I like immediately started like, Googling Nikola Tesla. I went back to the Oatmeal and I read the two things back over again. Because I knew the story. I knew that Edison had not, there was a lot of things. I mean, he's got, this is something I haven't done, I'm going to do, but I want to look up all his patents. Because there's a scene in the movie where it's like, where he says, well, you used 17 of my patents.
Right.
And he was very, he didn't seem to be interested in money so much. He was very bad with money.
Right.
We'll just say that. Not that he spent money on lavish things. He spent his money on his work.
Yeah.
And it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
He also supposedly had created a death ray,
right?
Which never came to be.
Thank goodness.
Or maybe it did. To end, and he called it a weapon to end all war or something like that. So I mean, he had a lot of interesting ideas that came true. Okay, because so at Wardenclyffe, the tower that he was building there was supposed to be above and beyond what Marconi was working on. So Marconi was sending his information, his radio waves from Massachusetts, from Cape Cod to across the Atlantic to England, and that was a big deal. Tesla wanted to do that with electricity, which is the first thing, and also he wanted to do that with radio, but he said, I want to be able to do it from like New York to Hong Kong, like around the world. And when you think about it, that's pretty much what the internet is now. It's not wireless, but it's pretty much what the internet is now. So his ideas are like kind of Wi-Fi, for example. That was like totally like...
Well, that's what she kind of sums up in the end.
She does
everything that you dream of, like he dreamed of it first, right?
Yeah,
Whatever
exactly.
She said, yeah, so...
Yeah. But I definitely am more interested in him now than I was before. I'm confused.
Yeah. I'm interested in this director and like what his actual.
Well, you know what? The other,
was. Which I mean, listen, making a movie's hard. I'm not here to like pretend like I could have done a better job.
So the director is Michael Amrita. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, Michael. But the other stuff that he's done, besides Tesla, I really haven't heard of, except for in 2005, Deadwood.
With, HBO show?
Timothy Oliphant and Molly Parker and Ian McShane.
It's a movie too, or is it a show?
That's a show.
It's a show.
Oh yeah.
So
it's an IFC film, so I mean, you knew it was going to be kind of wacky.
Yes, when you see that at the beginning. Yeah.
I think he could have used a little collaboration. Is all. I think it's hard to do all things.
Yeah.
Could have helped him.
Look, the movie did not get a good rating.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was like 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Yeah.
It did. It wasn't so terrible on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was like in the 60s. It's still not fresh, but still. And most of the critics are saying, that the premise was good, the execution was bad. And I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, we go around the room. Sarah, what would you give Tesla 2020?
I guess I'll go with the consensus and give it a 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, I agree. I think a 5.
Yes, I give it 5 too.
Yeah.
The saving grace, I guess, the saving part of this is that even though he was kind of robotic, I did like Ethan Hawke. I really like him. I think he's such a great actor. He can go from one type of character to another. Is this our second Ethan Hawke movie shot?
Yeah.
Predestination,
which was fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he did a bad. I think he did a good job with what they were going for, I guess. You know what I mean? I wish they would have just agreed to make him a little bit more engaging and not as like hard to watch.
Yeah.
But like I said to Sarah, I think the real talent is that man who was playing the violin on the roller skates. You know how hard that is?
Yeah, that's pretty hard.
Me and Sarah roller skate. That's hard.
Yeah.
I think he should get a real shout out.
That reminds me of another thing. So like if you look at like, quirky things about Nikola Tesla, and they'll like list it off, like a lot of those things were just like I felt randomly inserted in there, like his aversion to pearls, that whole scene where he's like, the pearls are driving me crazy. And so she takes them off, and it's just weird stuff like that was just inserted. Again, the execution was kind of all over the place, but all right. Well, if you want to watch Tesla, it is here at the library.
Yeah.
We have multiple copies for you to take out. It's also on Hulu. If you happen to have Hulu, you can watch it right now.
Yeah.
That's part of their regular package, so you can watch that. And there you go. So there's another movie chat. Who's next? Is it Sarah's next? Sarah's next? Sarah, you got to come up with, maybe load that up with just all fantastic movies.
Yeah.
Just spin the wheel. And
Pressure's on.
all right. So if you want to listen to our older episodes and our older movie chats, you can visit our website, mcplpodcast.com. Or if you have an idea for a movie chat, you want us to watch a movie and just discuss it, then just send us an email, podcast@mcplibrary.org. So for Sarah Fade and Nicole Rambo, I'm Sal DiVincenzo. We'll see you on the next show.